Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris Norris with CognitiveFitnessCoach.com, and I'm coming to you this morning, um, my morning here in lovely Chiang Mai, Thailand, and perhaps your evening, your afternoon, or maybe your morning as well. So, I wanted to come on here today and give you some mindfulness meditation. Many people have been asking about mindfulness meditation on my school community, which is called the Cognitive Fitness Community, and then also just like my day to day personal life and over the internet. So there's a lot of interest in mindfulness meditation, and I believe many people are looking to cultivate a practice in 2026, which is absolutely wonderful. Mindfulness meditation is one of those things that literally changed my life. It changed the structure of my brain for the better, and I cannot recommend it enough. Um, I'm just going to turn on another light real quick. All right. Sorry about that. Normally, the camera is a little bit better. Let me turn this down some. All right. All right. So we're off to a great start. As always. I don't know, man. I seem to never be prepared for these things, and that's okay. It's all right. All right. So, mindfulness meditation, what is it? And what does it do? And how do we do it? So, what is it? So, mindfulness meditation. So, if you think of mindfulness, mindfulness is it's the awareness that arises from intentionally paying attention to the present moment without judgment. And that's a pretty standard answer. That it was sounds a lot like John Kabat-Zinn's definition, right? So that's the definition of mindfulness. And then what is meditation? Well, meditation is an intentional act of normally sitting or lying down. You can even do it standing, but it's intentionally sitting with awareness and bringing perhaps focus to something. So normally when we start off with mindfulness meditation, as we'll do today, that focus is the breath. And now we focus on the breath. And what are we focusing on when I say we focus on the breath? Well, we're focusing on the sensations of breathing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And when our mind drifts, as it will, I have no doubt in my mind that your mind will drift. We simply recognize that and then we bring the focus back. And that's mindfulness meditation. It can be on the breath. It can also be on the body. It can be on sounds in the environment. Heck, you can even have your eyes open and be looking at something, maybe a candle, and have a mindfulness meditation with that. So that's what it is. And then what does it do? And this is really amazing to me. First, I want to tell you what chronic stress does. So, chronic stress in modern life, what it does to the brain is it begins to shrink the thinking part of our brain. It shrinks the prefrontal cortex and it begins to enlarge the amygdala. And the amygdala is the alarm bell of the brain. So now I can't think clearly, I can't remember things, and I'm also very reactive to stuff in my environment. Now, this blows my mind. To me, I think this is amazing, is that there's been studies that have shown with a functional MRI, which is functional MRI of the brain for meditators, their brains are built different. And now some people may say, okay, well, it's long-term meditators. They're kind of weird. Maybe it's the vegetarian diet or something, or it's the Birkenstocks. I don't know. Maybe that's why their brains are built different. So they took average normal people, and they put them in a study, and they took measurements before and after a course of 8 weeks of meditation, daily meditation, and they saw these same brain structure changes. And what are those brain structure changes that they saw? Well, what they saw is that there was a thickening of the prefrontal cortex. The cortical folds in the prefrontal cortex began to thicken. So there was actually like gray matter growing in the prefrontal cortex. And then there was a reduction in the volume of the amygdala, the alarm bell of the brain. So with folks meditating over the course of 8 weeks, um, they were able to literally change the structure of their brain for the better. And there was also some changes in memory, I believe, with the hypothalamus, and then also some changes in what's called the parietal junction, which has to do with perspective taking and empathy. That's all well and good, right? But some people say, well, that's just science, that's a scientific study, the numbers are skewed or what have you. But I'm going to tell you my experience. So my experience with mindfulness meditation is I first did a mindfulness meditation. I used to spend 11 years now. So it's 11 years ago was when I first started. And at that time, I was in the Navy. I was an instructor at a schoolhouse. I was a new dad, and I was like constantly running, constantly stressed. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was headed toward burnout if I wasn't already in it. And I was struggling. And I remember I was in a marriage counseling session when the licensed clinical social worker at the end of the session pushed a pamphlet across the desk to me and it said mindfulness for veterans. She said, I think this might be a good idea for you. So I went, and the very first night I went, we did a 45-minute long meditation. And now I do not recommend doing a 45-minute long meditation, but that's what we did. First time. I would recommend doing a 5-minute, maybe a 10-minute meditation like we'll do today. Anywho, I left that place driving home, and I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't know what those people did to me in there, like what black magic they brought. But it was like somebody had reached inside my brain and turned down the dimmer switch on my stress ever so slightly. And I was hooked. I was really intrigued. I wanted to see where this was going to go. So I kept going, and I've been meditating ever since that day, which is pretty amazing that I stuck with it. But sometimes I have a lot of stick with it in me. Like I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to things, and that's a good thing when it's for helpful habits. Perhaps not a great thing for unhelpful habits. So that was my experience. And then over time, I remember it was like maybe 3-4 months later, I was walking across what they call a grinder, this big giant parking lot in the Navy. And I was like, started to feel like happy, joyous for really no good reason. And then I started to feel more and more like I wanted to connect and talk to people. And like I was changing. My brain was changing. I was thinking more clearly, and I was much less reactive, which is amazing. All for sitting and bringing focus to my breath once a day for 10, 20 minutes. That's a pretty good return on investment in my mind. So I think that's enough talking about it. Let's be about it here for a bit. So if you would like to join me in this short mindfulness meditation practice, you're more than welcome to. But first, let's just get settled, and let's settle our body a little. Let's settle our minds before we even begin to close our eyes, if we close our eyes, because maybe we're not comfortable closing our eyes, and that's okay. But how I like to do this is I like to look to the left And I like to look to the right, and I look back to the left, and I look back to the right, and then I look all the way around if I can, and the spine allows that today. And I identify the exits, and I look all the way around to the other side, and everything looks good. Everything looks safe. And now I take a big deep breath in through the nose. And then if it feels safe to do so, you can allow the eyes to close. And if that doesn't feel safe and comfortable today, it's okay. Perhaps you can just shift your gaze gently downwards and take a soft focus on a spot in the room. And as we sit here, we just come into our bodies. Begin to draw the focus of the mind into the sensations in the body. And perhaps there's tension, tightness, burning there. Or maybe there's looseness, freedom, a lightness about us. There can be anything across the spectrum of sensations in the body, and they all belong. We're not here to change or fix anything. We're here to recognize and allow. Recognize and allow. Letting go of striving, letting go of judgment. And from the focus in the body, begin to bring focus to the breath. And begin to feel the sensation of breathing. Again, not trying to change or fix it in any way. Just feeling the sensation of the breath. And perhaps you feel it in your nose. Perhaps the sensations are most present on the upper lip. Or perhaps you feel it in the rising and falling of the chest, the expansion and contraction of the belly. Just recognize where you feel the sensation of the breath most fully and allow your focus to rest there. And perhaps you notice the mind has drifted away from the breath. You can recognize that and gently, without criticism, bring the focus back to the sensation of the breath. This drifting and returning of the mind away from the breath, back to the breath, will happen again and again and again. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you can't meditate. It means that you, like all people, have this wonderful storytelling mind. We simply recognize that drifting and we return again and again and again. That gentle return back to the sensation of the breath is the heart of mindfulness meditation. Each time we're able to do this with compassion and patience, we're strengthening our connection to the present moment. We're strengthening our mindfulness. And now let us take a deep breath together by breathing in through the nose, holding briefly on top, and then letting it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And now invite any movement into your body that feels welcoming. Maybe moving our fingers, moving our toes, maybe moving my arms, moving my legs. And maybe I can put my arms up overhead and stretching towards the sky. And bringing my arms down by my side, opening my heart to the world. And if you close your eyes, you can flutter them open, or you can just bring your gaze upwards. Cool. Thanks for joining me in that short practice. I'll be back here every week to give you another mindfulness meditation. So if you found this helpful, please leave a like, follow, share it with somebody that you feel could benefit from this practice. And if you're interested to know more about me and what I do, you can go to cognitivefitnesscoach.com. And you can also check out our free community on School, and that's the Cognitive Fitness Community. It's really taking off there, and I'm really stoked about what's going on. So I would love to have you to be part of that community. It's free, and there's tons of resources there. So until next time, this is Chris Norris, Cognitive Fitness Coach. Peace and be well.